Miyamoto Musashi was the greatest samurai to ever live, and he came up with 21 rules for life called Dokkodo, which is a Japanese translation for the way or the path of aloneness. Now, even though he was a Zen Buddhist, I do consider him a Stoic philosopher in a sense, because a lot of Buddhist principles are the exact same as Stoicism. If you follow the school of Theravada and the school of Stoicism, you'll see that they have basically the same principles and they practice the same things. And plus, they're pretty hard-body people. So let's start with rule number 1. Accept everything the way it is. So in Latin, there's a phrase called amore fati. The Stoics used to say this all the time to their own lives. It means love your fate. Because a good thing can lead into a bad thing and a bad thing can lead into a good thing. You don't know that as a person, so it is your moral obligation to pursue good and live a good life. This means if you got into an accident and you lost the ability to use your legs, the Stoics would advise you not to complain and just to make the best out of your life, because it happened, it is what it is. Love your fate, accept it, and move on. What's crying gonna do? What's being sad gonna do? Really, if you think about it objectively, it's not gonna do anything. The only thing you can do now is just try to live the best that you can in the life that you have now. Rule number 2, do not seek pleasure for its own sake. The Stoics always spoke about not indulging, not seeking pleasure, to have discipline as a man, not to do whatever your feelings say. And this has actually been scientifically proven by Dr. Anna, who wrote Dopamine Nation, how she explained the neuroscience in our brain. The way it works is when you lean towards pleasure, you actually feel more pain. It's like a balance, it's like a lever. And she says the more you indulge, the more you go on social media, the more you play video games, you eat sweets, you compulsively do things, the more you put weight on this end, the more pain you're gonna feel in your body, your homeostasis. So this is scientifically proven, and it's kind of fascinating how the Stoics and Miyamoto Musashi has figured this out thousands of years ago. Rule number 3, do not in any circumstance act on a partial feeling. As a human, you're gonna get a lot of emotions and feelings. If you were to act on every impulse, on every feeling, you would live a life full of regret. For example, if you felt the partial feeling of eating a poutine and you were to make that decision to eat a poutine every day because of this partial feeling, then you're gonna get fat, obese, you're gonna have other health issues that will lead into you having more problems in the future. Don't act impulsively off that partial feeling. That is out of emotion, that is out of impulse. You should kind of approach life with a sober mind. And this goes the same when you get that job promotion, when you get that new house, that new car. Don't have attachments or emotions to new things, because with these good emotions that you label also comes the other spectrum of bad feeling. Rule number 4, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. This is so interesting that he would say this, because this is a man who was the strongest of a warrior in his era. He was the strongest samurai, participated in life and death battles. I think he participated in about 50 or 60 battles, and he won every single one, being undefeated. And he came to the conclusion to think lightly of yourself and deeply about the world, meaning he let go of his ego and he came to the conclusion that it didn't mean anything. And as big as this world can get, we're all gonna end up under the ground someday. So that's something very deep to think about. Number 5, be detached from desire your entire life. Much easier said than done. Some people go on the extreme measures and they go shave their heads, live on a mountain, and completely give up all desires there is to life. I find the Stoic way very healthy, because we're born into this world, and instead of running away and giving up our desires, we're actually trying to detach from all these different distractions around us, which is way easier said than done, considering the world we're living in today with as many distractions as there are, as much pleasure and dopamine throwing at us. It's very tough to do that, but this is a very good rule to follow. Number 6, do not regret what you have done. So when you make a decision in life, don't have any regrets behind that decision. If it led into, something that you regret, then, you learn from that mistake and you don't do it again. So don't look back and say, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. No, make a decision, be confident in yourself, and just do the best that you can. Number 7, never be jealous. So try not to let jealousy cloud your mind and take away your peace of mind. Number 8, never let yourself be saddened by separation. I think he's just trying to tell us to not be too attached to everything in the world, because they will come to pass. Just like life and death, it's the most logical thing in the world, yet humans have the hardest time to understand that, including myself. Rule number 9, resentment and complaint are never appropriate for yourself or for others. So he's saying no matter what, never complain, never catch yourself complaining. And I look at this as just always remember to be grateful. Rule number 10, do not let yourself be guided by the feeling of lust or love. You know when you meet a new girl, she's cute, you know, you have these feelings for her and you're desiring her, you want to get her. See, that's not right to me. You shouldn't be guided by lust. Just because you have feelings or you get emotions doesn't mean you should act on them, especially as a man. So next time you feel lust or whatever it is, you don't have to act on it. You're allowed to feel it inside of you, but don't act on it. And this takes a lot of discipline, a lot of good mental health practices to be able to control yourself and your body. Number 11, and all things don't have any preferences. This can be understood in many different ways. How I look at it is try not to, be too picky in life and, just let go. Number 12, be indifferent to where you live. The Stoics always talked about, especially Marcus Aurelius, that you can find peace within yourself. It's not on a vacation, it's not on a beach, it's not on the mountains meditating. No, you can find peace within yourself no matter where you are in this world. And I never used to understand this 2 years ago, but now that I have internalized this, I finally starting to understand that I can find peace wherever I am. Number 13, do not pursue the taste of good food. This is probably the hardest rule for me because I love food, but I understand what he means by this. He lived a very simple life, very harsh life. So you have to understand what he means by that. If you were in a fight or flight response all the time in an environment where you're always in survival mode, pursuing good taste of food is not as important. Number 14, do not hold on to possessions you no longer need. Epictetus used to say, the more attachments and possessions you have, the more your gratitude will decrease, and vice versa. The less things you have, the more your gratitude will increase. Number 15, do not act on following customary beliefs. It's very interesting that he's saying that because he was considered a Zen Buddhist and practiced that every day. What I think he means by that is to not only just choose the customary belief that you were born into, but to actually always educate yourself in everything and then, kind of find your own way of life. That's how I understand it at least, but if you guys understand it differently, please mention that in the comment section below. Number 16, do not collect or practice weapons beyond its use. How I understand this is, if you practice the way of the sword, just practice it for the sake of defending yourself, but don't take it up a notch and try to attach ego into it and try to, kill as many people as you want and try to use it for evil. So don't let that ego make you do evil things with what you're practicing with the weapon. Number 17, do not fear death. The Stoics remind us of our mortality every single day. Seneca talks about in one of his letters How to Die, which is a beautiful, beautiful story about his life and how he approaches death, how to look at death. And again, it is the single most important thing to remember because it is the single truth of the world. The mortality rate of humans is 100%, so there's never been an immoral human for what we know. So practice remembering death and do not fear it. Number 18, do not seek to possess goods for your old age. Honestly, I don't know why he said old age. Maybe he meant because you're getting older, you're gonna die soon, so it doesn't make sense to hold on to goods. But clearly from his other rules, he would probably advise not to be too attached to goods either way. Number 19, respect Buddha and the other gods, but do not rely on their help. Rule number 20, you may abandon your own body, but never, never betray your honor. So you can put your body through rigorous training, you can treat it harshly. Seneca even said, treat your body harshly so your mind is not disobedient, which is very powerful. Rule number 21, never stray from the way. So those were 21 rules for life from Miyamoto Musashi himself. And I hope one of these rules can help you live a better life today. If you like my content, please subscribe for more on Stoicism and self-improvement. Thank you.